What's the S&P going to do around the election? Today is October 29th, and as we've been saying, the market was going to be topping and going sideways, potentially anywhere from the 28th of the month of October all the way until the 5th of November. And turns out what's really interesting, aside from the election coming out on the 5th, there's a phenomenal statistic around the S&P and the Dow and the NASDAQ that the last 4 trading days of October combined with the first 3 trading days of November, those 7 trading days have a tendency to be the strongest week of the year. And of any day of the year, the last 60 years, the strongest one day has been October 28th. Okay? So the probabilities are we will stay up until at least the 5th of November. And we expect the market to top out then and go down into the 22nd of November, and then rally strongly again into the early part of December. So the initial response probably to the election will be confusion, where nobody quite knows what to do. They may not know the results right away. And then we expect eventually it'll break down for a 10-day period or so, or longer, and a couple of weeks, and then it goes up again once they figure out what's going on. Nobody really knows. The fund managers have to get accustomed to the result. We don't even know when the result will happen. It's possible that it won't happen at the time that it's supposed to. You know, these things have a tendency to drag out. But the cool thing about it, what I wanted to say is, in Vedic astrology, which we do look at, it turns out that there's a reason that October 28th is the low point, and that October 28th tends to be the strongest day of the year. And the reason is the sun, the astrological position of the sun in the Vedic zodiac, is at 10 degrees of Libra, which is its lowest point of debilitation for the whole year. The debilitation point means it's weak, its weakest point. And it turns out that is when the S&P gets its renewal. That's when it starts to get out of the pit into another level of strength. And the first week after that tends to be extremely strong. And it's statistically validated by the results. Over the last 30 years, that, what do they call it, the Halloween rally around the 31st of October has been up. The market has been up that 7-day window 25 out of the last 30 years. Okay? So there's a good chance the market's going to stay up for another few days. And then it might stay up even longer if the election isn't resolved immediately. But eventually it'll break down into the 22nd of November. And this is the swing trader view. And then it should rally until the 9th of December and then go down the second half of December. Just repeating what we've said before. But what's interesting is the cycle of October low and May high. You've heard the expression, sell in May and walk away. It's exactly the cycle of the sun in terms of its weakest point is October 28th, and its strongest point, its exaltation point, is April 23rd. The market does exactly that. Most of the gains over the last 60 years have happened in that 6-month window. And if you went long in May and held until October, you made negligible, almost no money. So it's a fascinating point, and it fits tremendously with the exact Vedic positions of the sun, which is different than the Western astrology. You know, Western astrology, 10 degrees Libra happened 24 days earlier.